they're anticipating that, right? You look at their composition. I don't know that Fluoro will stay on Torbjorn.
No,
but
I don't think he will.
I mean, the rest of them actually, you could see this happening.
Yeah, this is a pretty similar composition. Okay, so they're running onto the they're going to use Dreamer to scout. No, they're not. They're just going to run Goats into it. All right, well, they might swap up when they get the scout here and find the May. They find the Roadhog. Yeah, it looks like they're swapping back. And a Kraken back on his Roadhog.
Ooh,
and this is an interesting comp from the side of Sydney Droppers. This is something they probably cooked up in the lab. The double sniper, Roadhog, very similar to maybe Stage 4 Overwatch League last year. So it will all come down to if they can get those combinations off again.
You got to be feeling a little bit scared if you're lab at that point. You just see the Widowmaker pop up. You're like, yeah, I might be dead here, boys.
Yeah, he could be, but another grapple shot comes up. Doesn't manage to land it, but they're getting good progression here. They're getting space on the side of Sydney Droppers, and that's what they need for this double sniper. They need the sniper
pretty
space.
low as well. Noosh is going to be the first one that'll be finished off. It's at the cost of Shoyo's mech, but you'll definitely take that as Sydney Drop Bears. A nice hook through, a Kraken goes low, but he can take a breather, backs away around the corner. And another hook connected. This time it doesn't even need to come down to a crack, and Shoyo will finish the job onto Ike. And as you say, Sydney Drop Bears, they progress forward slowly, but slowly is good, and that is a very nice combo.
Yeah, you see the more distance they take, the more pressure they can put on that shield, and the better suck hook combos they can get off. And that's been the bread and butter of the Sydney Drop Bears roster so far.
The big suck, putting in the work. Bit of a trade back though from Legacy off the back of that whole hog. Fundraise in now as well with his bongo doing super damage, although a Kraken will dispatch of that with his whole hog.
Yeah, it's very back and forth.
Legacy are kind of hanging on here, but I feel like that's really all that it is hanging on. Lab smashes a Kraken in the face with a headshot, and now Molten Core comes back across. I mean, Legacy are still investing into this, which means Sydney Drop Bears is going to have to throw a few more ultimates in their direction. Lab now with the Transcendence through after getting the pick onto Fluoro. They know that the War of Attrition actually favors Legacy here, because there is only the one healer for Sydney Drop Bears. But they get off the point!
Yeah, they caught himself off the point, going for that Mega Pack, and the lack of mobility. It's a Charlie lineup.
I knew you wanted to.
It is. Another one. But we saw a Kraken landing big hooks with Dreamer as well, so that's good to see. Good coordination there. But a Kraken's been a bit of a wonder child.
Bit of a wild child.
Yeah, on this Roadhog so far.
Yeah.
Usually a support player, doesn't get time to shine too much. So
don't talk too nicely about him, otherwise he might get a bit too excited and start rubbing his head on the table again.
Yeah, that was something. Looks like we're going to be swapping up to this 3-3. Stolen Picnic on a Tracer, not what you want to see. So we will be back to the 3-3. So this is something that Drop Bears will feel very comfortable on.
Yes, indeed. Joyo still has self-destruct, so there's a little bit to work with, a little bit to provide space, and Legacy had to swap as well. So we're kind of at an even situation, obviously with the advantage of the self-destruct.
I don't know how the cart pushed this far. Shoyo must have been on it the whole time while everyone was swapping. As you see Dreamer getting very aggressive. He's managed to take down 2 in that tiny room. You do love to see it, but he might go down here. And it's a fight that's pretty even in Legacy. They have a health advantage.
Fundraise so low. Winter goes deep to try and finish him off and actually does get that kill, which means it's still alive here for Sydney Drop Bears, who one might argue actually have the faster respawns as well, and they're still continuing that payload push forward. This is where Legacy have to back away.
Yeah, they do. Ike still full charge though, trying to build that ultimate very quickly, because I think that will be a thing. But Kraken almost has his ultimate. He does have his ultimate, in fact, so that's a very fast Transcendence for little Dario.
It is indeed. Lab still at 75%, and they both started at the same time. Shadow goes in from Fundray. It hits Joyo and Winter, but trans from a Kraken means there's no harm done to Sydney Drop Bears. Now the trade back is a grab and a shatter from Dreamer. Who does this favor? Well, it looks to be Legacy. Lots of more ults available for them. As the sound barrier goes down. Fluoro was at 94%. What a difference that could have made.
Yeah, Stolen manages to build the sound barrier just in time to counter Dreamer's massive shatter. So that's good. Legacy stabilizing a bit here. They are showing signs of life. The halftime break, someone was giving them a speech because they're looking much better now.
Much better indeed. Still 2 minutes and 15 to hold here in phase B though. Yeah, that's 3 or 4 fights worth of time for Sydney Drop Bears. Not to mention now Grav is up for Niang, and he is looking for an angle for it, waiting for Noosh to waste that defense matrix, and eventually it does fade, and there goes the Graviton Surge. Self-destruct is going to catch a Kraken. It's all gone wrong in this fight for Sydney Drop Bears. They've not found the trade back quickly enough, I don't think. Fundray falls. Shatter actually from Dreamer. That might salvage it, and Well, with the self-destruct finding a kill onto Ike, it seems that will be the case. Legacy, they had their opportunity, but just didn't grasp a hold of it. And Sydney Drop Bears, they're going to capture point B.
Yeah.
Might even get the stagger fight here onto Legacy as well if they're quick.
They should do. Legacy have all 6 spawned in that first location though, so they should be looking to take a fight here. Don't try and run, boys. Try and take the fight here. They will. They'll push themselves up to the cart, prevent it from pushing any further. And this is a similar situation to what we saw in this previous series. But Dreamer hitting 2 shatters, massive shatters back to back is good signs for the sign of Sydney Drop Bears.
Andre lurking, waiting, but he's so low, and that's the problem when you're a Reinhardt. You just don't have the opening to get the shatter, because as soon as you drop your shield, if you're any less than half HP, you get bursted before the shatter actually goes down.
Yeah,
Look at the positioning that Sydney Drop Bears have got.
We saw the aggression there. As soon as Winter hit that rally button, Fleury hits the speed boost, and a common combination there with just getting into their Reinhardt's face, so he can't shatter if Winter's standing there flailing at him. And that shuts down any chance of a fight win.
Grab through from Niang. No eat this time from Noosh and Fundray. That's not where you want to be in your enemy's backline. Solo as a Reinhardt. Oh, that shatter! Dream has hit another good one. And Noosh, he's surely going to be finished off here alongside the rest of Legacy. Stolen has the beat, but it's only on to him and Lab, and that is really not going to make much of a difference at all. Unless Fundray gets the shatter of a lifetime here, it's not going to make a difference, and he won't even be given the opportunity.
Unfortunately, he won't, and the cart will roll in as soon as Noosh is out. It will cap while the bomb is exploding. Unfortunate for him. But Dream has played this very well. This Reinhardt vs Reinhardt matchup, he's been looking to get the pin onto Fundray first. There's 2 fights, noticeably, that I've noticed, is that he's managed to kill Fundray with a pin, pinning him back into a location, and then got the Earth Shatter when the shield obviously isn't there because Fundray's dead. So Dream is playing this matchup very well. Fundray, no slouch on the Reinhardt too. He was impressive last season on it. So credit to Dreamer, credit where it's due. And Niang looks like he's really slotting into this roster well. This Sydney Drop Bears, they look like a well-oiled machine.
They do indeed. Suppose that is what you would expect coming from a roster that has just brought their core back. As you said, it seemed like Niang had been playing a lot more with Sydney Drop Bears than Felons had. And I think you are seeing a marked difference actually for Sydney Drop Bears this week as opposed to last week. It's a definite improvement.
Yeah, there's definitely improvement, especially in coordination. The coordination between Dreamer and a Kraken has been really good. Winter and Dreamer as well. You know, you've seen good timed aggression out of those 2 players, so obviously there's no language barrier there between the Koreans and the English speaking. But again, Legacy, they did okay, didn't get steamrolled, and now they're looking... Oh, the hero picks are a bit funky, but I don't think they'll roll out on this.
Well, I'd imagine Dreamer and Niang would be having a pretty decent grasp of English. Like, I've not spoken to either of them, but I've met quite a few Koreans in my time in esports, and as a general rule, they have quite good English.
Yeah, generally they have an acceptable level of English taught in school. But, so Legacy are going to come out in a little bit of a DPS composition. I like this. This is going to be fun. This is good. I'd like to see how Ike finds the positioning on the Hanzo, though. It's quite a difficult hero to pull off if you don't get the right angles.
Now Sydney Drop Bears need to do a bit of thinking, because they're going to have to position a lot differently against this composition than they would. I don't know if that concussion blast helped or hindered Sydney Drop Bears there. I think it actually booped them right into Legacy.
Yeah, I think that really gave Dreamer the go time. I think he got knocked in and he was like, well, I'm here. Might as well make use of it.
Life gives you lemons.
Yep. Turn it into a dead Hanzo.
Make apple juice.
I don't think you can.
Oh, oh that's not fun.
No.
Cheeky from Winter.
This is a typical hold from the Sydney Drop Bears.
Sydney Zoom.
Bog. Bog.
Well, Noosh is at 72%, so still got a bit of work to do in charging up this EMP. It should be coming next fight.
Yeah, but he should be... Kraken might be able to match him on the Transcendence there, so we'll have to find a good opportunity.
Yeah, the Trans pushed early.
Alright, so they're looking to get aggressive here, but no, looking to consolidate. This is a hard fight to read as Fluro takes out Ike again. He's been caught off twice now at the start of these fights. And as I mentioned, it's pretty difficult to find positioning as Hanzo versus these compositions, because if your ball isn't there creating a lot of space, Hanzo is a very easy hero for this GOATS composition. Just run out and kill.
Now that EMP is there, and there is just nothing Sydney Drop Bears have to counter it out. I don't see a world in which Sydney drop Bears win this fight. It would have to be the biggest throw from Legacy.
Shoyo needs to dodge the EMP and eat the Dragon and the Rocket Barrage, and then he wins a Nobel Peace Prize for stopping war.
True. Well, Noosh is still biding his time. Sydney drop Bears have clumped up in the cafe. EMP connects on 3. Shoyo didn't actually get hit. Can he do the work that you spoke about? Well, maybe it's not even necessary. How has Sydney drop Bears found a way to win this fight with only a rally when Legacy had EMP, Dragon Strike, Rocket Barrage, Transcendence, and Valkyrie?
Yeah, it's a rough one there from the side of Legacy. They really wanted to win that one. The EMP doesn't catch the brick or the Diva, so they're able to mitigate the damage. A Kraken gets the kill onto Ike as soon as he uses his Dragon Strike, so really can't take advantage of the space that's being provided. But the ground level barrage is much like my floor Lucio, not really something you want to be looking to do.
Oh, well, now the going gets tough for Legacy, doesn't it? Only Lab has an ultimate. Self-destruct is going to start off. Fundre dead, Noosh demeched. That might as well be the fight over before it's really begun. Runny, he's charging on top of the back line of Sydney drop Bears, but just on his own, doesn't really eventuate into a whole lot.
That's a disaster of a fight for the side of Legacy Esports because they don't build any ult charge off it. You see Ike only at 40% or 35%. You see Stolen very low percent as well, Fundre. So it's the worst case scenario. So drop Bears throw in one ultimate, they win the fight, they build ults, and you don't.
Well, grab through from Niang. Is Sydney drop Bears ready for it? It looked like it took him a little while to actually get into that engagement. And doesn't really eventuate in a whole lot. Of Kraken forces the trans early, trying to get the team forward, trying to play aggressively. He likes to do that. And it's going to open the door for Dreamer with a nice Earth Shatter into the backline again. This time connecting onto Noosh, and we'll get the charge kill right at the back of the car. That is an interesting...
A Kraken caught out there, forced to use the Transcendence to save himself, meant go time. Fluoro gets the knockback onto Fundre, knocking him past Dreamer. Dreamer, eyes light up as he sees no shield in front of him, and he just knocks down 4. Well played by the Sydney drop Bears. Despite being caught in a sticky situation, they managed to turn that fight. Now I'll look for Ike's Graviton Surge. This is going to be the big key. Can they get anything off it?
Maybe. Shoyo has gotten the D-Mech onto Noosh, waiting to see whether or not the Grav is eaten. Stolen does get the sound barrier down early. I think Grav was actually eaten. I think that's what... There's a little bit of an error, but I think that the Grav was eaten. Ike has used it. We didn't see it at all.
Yeah, it was eaten. And unfortunately, the D-Mech on Noosh meant that he was no position to get any aggression this fight. Winter comes in with the rally, a Kraken with his 3rd Transcendence of the point. It looks all Sydney drop Bears in the kill feed right now.
It is indeed. Dreamer with the Earth Shatter, that'll be the nail in the coffin. You need a hammer to bang that nail in, and that's exactly what it was. Legacy do not even cap a point on Hollywood. So we're at 3-0. Sydney drop Bears have won the series, but this is where you want to make sure that you don't drop the ball and don't drop Rialto.
Well, this is where the Warriors stumbled last night, or not last night, last week
Yeah.
against Legacy. So it will be interesting to see. I think that drop Bears will be disciplined enough not to want to drop the map, though. I think they need it, and they are a team that prides themselves on discipline, so I don't think it will be happening this week.
Yeah, you need a bit of a resurgence into week 2 here from Sydney drop Bears. Well, look, it was good stuff from them. They played a bit of an out there kind of a composition on attack. You don't typically always see that sort of Harissa Hog on attack, more so on the defense, but they made it work. Move into the standard 3-3 as we get further and further through the map, and that also favoured Sydney drop Bears, though I will say I feel like to a bit of a lesser extent. Legacy do look their best when they're playing 3-3. It's just that they're not quite up to scratch up against Sydney drop Bears.
Yeah, I still think 3-3 is the best composition for Legacy. It's just unfortunate that they're not quite at the level of some of these top teams like Quarter, Warriors, Drop Bears. So, but there are still, I don't know, they didn't have the best offense, obviously, when they wasted a lot of time on that funky little composition. When the EMP didn't get the value, it becomes very hard to swap to Goats in a Goats v Goats mirror and build those ultimates. So this is quite unfortunate.
I guess you really got to be scratching your head a little bit here as Legacy in that particular fight that we saw with that Earth Shatter, with that Rocket Barrage through into the cafe, and just thinking like, okay, why or how did we lose that fight? Because they had everything, really. I mean, the EMP kind of connected onto 3 players. Admittedly, I kind of feel like it was Sydney drop Bears, their positioning inside that cafe, that was the major problem for Legacy, but there was definitely a world in which Legacy could have used that time to push onto the point, draw them out of the cafe, and then maybe get a bit of a better EMP. But it seemed like Legacy was like, we have to go, we have to go, we have to go. And then
Yeah,
They went, but it wasn't timed well or coordinated well, or I don't know what was going on.
I think you'll see this whole season. That cafe on Hollywood is a bit of a big bait. If you go in there as the attacking team, chances are you're going out in a body bag because it's quite an area where it's easy to defend for the defenders. You know, if you meet a high charge Zarya or even a Zenyatta in there, you can get taken out pretty darn quickly. And we saw even in the order game when Quartz went into that cafe, he went back in a body bag.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's that for Legacy. Now fighting for Pride, as we saw again last week. But, you know, last week, to be able to get a map off of Warriors, not so bad. I would say the same again today. If they get this final map off of Sydney Drop Bears, I'll be like, you know what? Not an awful result for Legacy. But there comes a point where you have to ask for a win. I know we're only in week 2, but I just do hope that it's going to come sooner or later for Legacy. For Sydney Drop Bears, I kind of want this to be a 4-0, in all honesty. I do want to see Sydney Drop Bears be a real contender this season. I'm still not quite sure exactly where I'd place them, but I do think that they're within that top 4 pretty comfortably from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think they deserve the 4-0 here, really. I mean, they've worked hard for it. They've, as I've mentioned several times now, discipline. They've done that. They haven't looked to mess around with anything. They've looked to use their ultimate combos very effectively, and they've done the preparation to counter swap to whatever Legacy's thrown at them. So very well played from the side of the Sydney Drop Bears, and credit to their coaching staff for that. Rialto is a bit of a curveball map though. Can see some funky things go on, especially on the first point defense, and we saw how hard that third point can be to crack on the previous match. So anything can happen.
How about this from Sydney Drop Bears? That'd be a bit of a curveball.
Show you on a Pharah?
Show you on a Pharah, big curveball.
Yeah, it is a big curveball actually. I don't know if the Yo could pull out the Pharah. He played a lot of Tracer before he played Diva, way back in the day. So I know he's got that in his wheelhouse, and he played a lot of Sombra last season. So, but not Pharah.
Yeah, I wouldn't think we'd be seeing it. At least not with Dreamer on Reinhardt and a Kraken on Zenyatta and Fluoro on Lucio. If you had maybe a Wrecking Ball thrown in there as well, you might be able to make an argument for it.
But there is a very interesting composition on the side of Legacy Esports. This is a composition that a team called Element Mystic has really coined. And the Doomfist and the Sombra, it provides so much threat. There's a lot of threat in this composition. We found it very difficult to deal with, or Order found it very difficult to deal with in scrimmages, as playing as that 3-3, and it's because you need to be able to counteract the Doomfist. You need to commit your resources to stopping the Doomfist from killing your players, but at the same time, the Sombra's in there building a lot of ult because there's distraction, and then the Sombra and the Doomfist can combination ults very well, and then there's a Zarya grab on top of it, so it can be a very potent composition if they can pull it off. Haven't seen Legacy attempt this in any way, shape, or form, so it'll be interesting to see if there's something they've worked on or if it's something they're just pulling out.
I kind of have a bit of a feeling in the back of my mind that we did see a little bit of something similar on Defense Hanamura last season for Legacy, where at least they had a Doomfist. I don't know if they were running the Sombra in conjunction as well, but from what I remember, it didn't work very well. So I'm not sold yet. Like, obviously we haven't seen it, so I can't really make a particularly informed judgment call. But for Legacy, this is the kind of composition that it works like really well, or it's going to fail spectacularly, I think. Yeah,
it's a mechanically intensive composition. Your Doomfist player needs to be very experienced with the mechanics of Doomfist. Your Sombra player needs to know how to, get in and out of the fights pretty cleanly. And your Zarya player needs to play aggressive, but not feed. So it's quite difficult to play. Overwatch League teams try to adapt to it a bit. Boston was one team that tried to take it up, but it can be very, very difficult to master.
Yeah, so it looks like we've got a DC on the side of Legacy, so we'll just be waiting a bit, chatting a bit.
That is quite unfortunate, as they are a defending team. That means
someone's going to have to run all the way back from spawn.
Hopefully it's stolen.
Yeah.
For the sake of Legacy. It's stolen. He was on 0% ult charge. Maybe.
Well, it's not Ike.
It's not stolen.
Stolen's there still. Fundra's there. I suppose they
Rani?
probably got
Yeah, it must have been Rani. Yeah, it is. There's 5 heroes there. Rani. But, again, Sydney Drop Bears just scouting. Not sure what they've come up against, but now they hit the speed button and off they go. This is a good opportunity for Rani to get in there. No heal amp means he can get some damage in.
Straight onto the Reinhardt as well. So, it'd be difficult to get the pick that way. But if you can disrupt Reinhardt, that certainly is an acceptable strategy as
Dreamer goes flying on in.
Talk about disrupting. There's that.
Yeah. This fight advantage definitely on the side of Legacy Esports here. They should look for cleaning up all these kills. They are playing a bit passive though. Haven't pushed in as far as I'd like to see them. Losing that Reinhardt, or Ike, manages to demech Shoyo. So that will be... This is time off the clock too.
I don't know what's happening there. I think Shoyo kind of wanted to reset, but it looked like the rest of Sydney Drop Bears was sort of ready to fight.
Yeah, and this hands an early ult advantage over to Legacy Esports. They've got the Graviton Surge up already, a Nano Boost, and a EMP.
And he's just going to be chilling, waiting. See if he can find a way to punch someone off maybe when they don't want to be knocked off, or again cause some more havoc for Dreamer, who has been given the Nano Boost and is going to use that to good effectiveness. There was an EMP through there as well for Ike, and it doesn't seem to be too much of a problem for Sydney Drop Bears actually. Shoyo gets demaxed, but outside of that, everyone else is putting some work in. Dreamer's been hacked this whole time, finally not hacked anymore. But the Earth Shatter doesn't really connect regardless.
The
Kraken's
beat comes
asleep.
from Stolen Picnic, and oh, you might be able to
boop!
The boop!
Oh, the peel is so good!
Well played from the Sydney Drop Bears. The Meteor Strike comes down, but there's nothing to get with it. You don't want to be seeing that when you're playing Doomfist.
Oh, Rani is just not having a good time here at all. As soon as he jumps in, Winter is waiting with that shield bash. Shadow goes back through from Fundray, doesn't connect onto anything, and Dreamer just steamrolls straight through him. Again, an attempt from Rani to get in, and well, he's got the Nano Boost, but I don't know that that's too ideal really for Legacy.
Ends up getting slapped by a Kraken, so the combination is broken. And this should be the point capped over by the Sydney Drop Bears. Fundray coming in on the ball, a last-ditch effort. The EMP is up, so the interesting thing, they are committing for it. Fundray contesting the card, dropping members low of the Sydney Drop Bears, and yeah, maybe this fight is turned.
It certainly looks to be, although the kills aren't quite coming as quickly as I would have thought for Legacy. Fundray will fall to Dreamer. The Earth Shatter was thrown in there from Sydney Drop Bears. Again, I felt like the fight was already lost, but then Sydney Drop Bears still try to invest into it. It's going to be a nice Meteor Strike from Rani. He'll get back out okay. So will Sydney Drop Bears. Well, 60 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, they're recommitting with the rally. They've managed to take out Ike, and now this is looking good for the side of Sydney Drop Bears. Doomfist comes in, nano boosted, doesn't have the cooldowns. He manages to knock himself down, but he's in an awful position. They managed to trade out, but the ultimate's coming up on the side of Legacy Esports. They need to survive for this Graviton Surge.
Yeah, Noosh is very, very charged, but he's going very low and will be finished off by 9. That's probably the nail in the coffin for Legacy on this point. Fundray still trying to survive. He did, I think, get the mines down in the meanwhile there, but I don't see them anywhere. Finally, the payload does get capped.
Finally, yeah, they did manage to take a lot of time off the clock though, which is kind of what you want as well. Fundray's hopping back over to that Reinhardt.
But you'd feel so close to have actually holding point A there as Legacy that feels a bit disappointing.
Yeah, definitely. Impressive from the Sydney Drop Bears though to be marking Rani this hard. Rani hasn't gotten anything done on this Doomfist, it feels like, even though they've committed a lot of resources to it.
EMP for Ike. It's spotted, but still gets the EMP off. 4 players hit by that one. This is not too bad for Legacy, and there you go. That's the combo you spoke about, the EMP into Meteor Strike, and with the Graviton Surge as well, it makes life so easy for Rani to get work done on that Doomfist. Can they stagger Fluoro? No, looks like he's going to be back across okay.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to play when the enemy can't really respond to you. The Droppers have done well dodging the EMP though. If they've had an ultimate on a player, they've generally dodged the EMP. I can manage to escape on a slither of HP, but yeah, the nano boost from a Kraken in the first EMP really saved, and this time the Graviton Surge from Nayang.
How much damage is this self-destruct going to do? Not much. Andre wants to get the Earth Shatter off, but again, he can't put his shield down for fear of dying straight away.
See Rani slept while nano boosted. You do not like to see that as a DPS player.
No, definitely not. And he's really going to try and force some pressure onto Dreamer here so that it opens up the door for that Earth Shatter of Fundray, but he just can't get in there. Oh, finally! Fundray gets the Earth Shatter down. It was actually an exchange of Earth Shatters. The EMP through as well here for Legacy, so no one on Sydney Drop Bears able to use their abilities, but the picks aren't really coming off of it. It's a 1-for-1. Legacy, it was in their hands on a silver platter, but they have not been able to control this fight well enough.
No, the scrappy fights, they've really benefit the side of the Sydney Drop Bears as they're able to sustain with that Brigitte. Winter's been playing very well here, gets the rally up before the EMP comes out, so he's able to, you know, sustain through it. His EMPs haven't been capitalized on, despite hitting multiple targets.
Well, Meteor Strike. Still another attempt here from Legacy to hold on to the point. Rani's stuck in a corner, they don't know where he is. Well, Nano Boost onto him now as well. But Really, how can you dive right on top of a Brigida? He still gets a crack and somehow he might get Winter. No way! It's the mini punch out from Doomfist. He gets the job done. Now Dream is low as well. Rani, he's going absolutely insane in this fight.
Yeah, there's only 20 seconds left on the clock now too. The reset comes, but I don't know, it's looking dicey. Legacy have the EMP. These fights are going on for so long that the clock is just winding down. Shoyo's swapped over to the Wrecking Ball to touch here.
That's it. Look at think how far they have to run, Sydney Drop Bears.
I want to see Rani knock him here so he doesn't contest. No, it's not going to happen. Oh, he does get hacked mid-air, which means he doesn't get the adaptive shield off. Means he's just a big pinata, basically.
Big pinata that doesn't really give much over to Legacy, apart from perhaps holding this point. Rani's being more of a distraction than anything else this fight, but certainly has done his job. Can't get the punch connection onto Niang. But Meteor Strike is, well, gonna probably finish this one off. Shoyo can't get to the point. Good hold from Legacy, that's impressive.
Legacy look like map 4 legends, don't they?
They
They're
do.
really showing up on match 4, but it's just a little bit too late.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
if every map was Escort, maybe Legacy would win.
Yeah, Legacy might be a championship team. But no,
On-
that was
on
very good. I
Rialto.
like to see that they brought out that composition, though. It's very difficult to play, and I like that they have the confidence to bring it out in a big match. Of course, the series is gone, so, you know, they're not really playing for sheep stations, but they're really experimenting, and if that's a composition that they can learn, it's something that will catch teams off guard a lot, because it is very difficult to play against, especially if you're a Reinhardt player.
Oh yeah, you're gonna hate life. You get punched, and then you get hacked, and then you get shield bashed, and
Uppercut.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It's like, what at this point, like, what am I even doing playing Reinhardt? You know?
No, but unfortunately you need to keep playing Reinhardt, otherwise your team dies.
Yeah.
So that's the unfortunate thing.
Well, that is the hell that Dreamer had to live through.
Yeah, I guess
What is that in there? Is that like ice?
I mean, look, it has to be, because there's meat on it, so there's ice.
Is it meat? Oh
Yeah.
it's crabs.
Crab emoji.
Buses off the map. You know?
Actually, that's going to be exciting to see tomorrow. He didn't go off the map on the first game.
No,
He
trying
stayed
too
on
hard,
the map.
playing too seriously.
Yeah.
So this is like a grocery store. I never even really looked and like paid attention to what it was.
So the Blizzard art team does a fantastic job, actually, with all this. Their attention to detail is quite high.
It's La Vecchia Pesceria.
Let's see.
There you go.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Gallery de Art Omnica. So that's the Omnic Gallery of Art, I guess.
Man of many languages,
That's
man of
me.
many talents.
That's
As we
right,
see
that's right.
again.
Oh!
Ronnie gets a Kraken, and that's a great way to start the fight. The Discord Orb is gonzo.
That's a huge feels bad for a Kraken, because there's just nothing you could do.
He's in the middle of his team. He's playing in a perfectly safe position, but the Doomfist just comes in and just takes his life.
Yeah.
You got to lock your windows.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know about Doomfist though. Might just be able to punch through the window. Gonna try and get Shoyo here. Might demech him, and he does. Niang, the next focus of fire. Well, Shoyo's not gonna have a fun time here at all.
He wins these.
Does he? He might. If Ronnie keeps missing his left clicks.
Well, it could be difficult. It's a
Oh, yeah.
projectile shotgun. It's,
I'm not saying that it's easy. I couldn't play Doomfist to save my life.
Yeah, it's one of those rare heroes that you're either great at or
Just like Genji.
yeah. Ronnie might have the ult to get out of the struggle here, but
That's
Storm
fine.
Picnic gets an environmental kill.
Oh, this will
And
be
here
big.
comes the Graviton Surge combo. Doesn't really catch much, but Stolen's lighting up the kill
I
feed.
mean, he's
so
got
that's
some
nice.
good damage in there, Rani. Stolen Picnics, finishing all of them off, and that is a very
Got
fast cap.
5 minutes to work with an EMP Shatter combo up for next. Ronnie, he's looking to get
Whoa,
May.
come on.
Can he get him? Ike finishes him off, Kill Stealer.
Well, Ronnie ran out of ammo. So he
Ronnie's
needed
been doing a bit of work on this.
Ronnie's
Doomfist,
popping
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Droppers seem to have to answer early to him on the defense, but he's gone relatively unchecked since then.
I sort of thought, like, you know what, this is probably not going to work for Legacy. As I said, obviously during that pause, but all of a sudden, we back.
Yeah, Ronnie's been showing he's been spending time in the gym, I guess. Now they've swapped over to this Sombra to try and counter the Doomfist, as well as the Ana and Winston. See the Graviton Surge come out, catches the Sombra. The Anti-Nade comes in, but they're still able to get the EMP off. A Kraken
Needs to
dropping
get a
very
Kraken.
low.
He does, and Rani has a chance to maybe boop someone else off here, but unfortunately the punch is not available still. doing the damage, and Meteor Strike to come through here as well. Puts Niantic down low, misses that one. Noosh will eventually finish it off, and Ike is going to charge on back in and hacking his counterpart. Not quite going to be able to get that before the translocate comes into effect. Legacy are still pushing forward though in all this meanwhile.
Yeah, the card's gained a lot of distance in the time that this fight's gone on, and Winter needs to really turn this fight with this EMP. They need a clean fight here to build the ultimates.
To get picked off before he gets EMP out, always a danger against Doomfist, although he gets EMP but immediately picked straight away. It's a 4-man EMP, but still no one from Legacy has died. Finally, Fundray is finished off. He was also hit with a Bionade in the meanwhile there.
Lab has used the nano boost. I don't know who he's put that on, but it doesn't seem to be worth it in this fight. Show has managed to clean up a few kills. Looks like that clean reset, they finally get it. This feels like the first fight they've won on this map on the defense.
Gonna have to win quite a lot more. 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
And it's one fight territory too, so we've got the EMP, we've got the Graviton Surge coming up. If we can get Fundray swinging into that, that's an Earth Shadow. There's so many ult combinations here. Flura's been slept somewhere. Will he get picked off? It doesn't look like it. It looks like Rani's managed to get slept himself. He's on the right side of the wall, so he's really fine.
Issue is, like, for Sydney Drop Bears, all it takes is Runny to get another pick here, you know what I mean? And then that could be the fight over. Or EMP for Ike. That'll probably do it.
It's looking quite dangerous. It looks like this will be the EMP opportunity he's been looking for.
Oh, straight up there into the Graviton Surge. EMP out now as well. As soon as Graviton Surge starts to fade, the EMP is there. Well, Meteor Strike won't actually connect, but a Kraken under pressure hits a nice sleep dart. It'll be the end of Rani. Graviton Surge back from Sydney Drop Bears. Doesn't look like it's going to be Christmas Day just yet for Legacy.
No, and this is giving this Drop Bears chance to build up some ults of their own. Getting close on the EMP, have the sound barrier now. Stolen now reinitiates with the sound barrier. He's seen something that I haven't because they've gone very deep in here.
Well, I think he might have seen something that Legacy didn't as well, because there really wasn't much effectiveness coming out of that sound barrier, short of maybe baiting Fundray in to play aggressively there, and it'll be another big significant amount of time lost for Legacy.
They get the EMP out on the side of the Sydney Drop Bears, so at least they don't have to deal with that next fight. But sound barrier is a pretty handy ultimate to have, and there isn't that much combination on the side of Legacy this fight. Might send Rani in to try bait out the beat of Fluoro, but it's looking pretty dicey. This might be in the hands of the Sydney Drop Bears.
That would be a little disappointing for Legacy after starting so well here on Rialto to not quite be able to finish it off. But, as you said earlier, it's still one fight territory, and that's all that Legacy needs. Getting their time. Need to build the EMP up here. Makes it 80%. Close.
It's a little bit off. Shoyu's been caught, but doesn't get hacked, so he can run back. But now we see the nano boost. Winston come in, and he'll chase down Stolen Picnic.
Oh no, I don't know about that one from Fundray. It'll get Dreamer, so sure, that's a kill, but I think it's actually better to just cop the L there. They've invested the nano boost, and obviously, since it's not available in the next fight, Sydney Drop Bears would have had to deal with the Earth Shatter next fight,
with the EMP
next
Shatter too.
fight,
Yeah, Fundray.
You know?
It's one of those things where if he catches the Winston before Stolen dies, then they can come in with the beat drop. So we see a Graviton Surge coming out nice and early. Fundra's the only one caught though.
Yeah, it's not really going to cost a whole lot. Rani trying to move into his own element to get a little bit by that self-destruct, as he should be. Lab and Noosh drop, and he's not going to be able to get a crack in here. They're going to have to reset Legacy. At the very least, luckily, they didn't invest the EMP. Graviton Surge will come up next fight. But can they even get to the point? 15 seconds.
It's going to be a battle of who uses their EMP first and who uses it better. Winter
who
and
gets
Ike
the point, though?
I think Ike's in charge of touching the point here, which is not what you really want with your Sombra.
No, he's going to have to actually come out of stealth and maybe even EMP on the point, unless he might not get it off.
He's got it off. He's actually hacked Winter, but the sound barrier comes out, which will save Winter.
No, it won't. Winter's dead.
No, this is going anybody's game now. Flura gets tracked down by Noosh, and the Sydney Drop Bears are falling at the final hurdle, it seems. The Shadow goes down, and the Kraken is dead. Dreamer managed to survive. He might be able to come out and contest the card.
They have to contest it. They have to contest it now. It's got 2 meters to go. Who's getting on the point? Well, it's Winter just there in time on the Wrecking Ball. How long can he survive? Sound barrier is down for Legacy, so they're looking pretty healthy at the moment. Winter just bouncing backwards and forwards, being that pinball machine. But this might well be Legacy at the 11th hour, finally being able to cap a point and win a map. Sydney drop bears into stagger territory, and
Dream
Legacy
doesn't
are
get the
doing a
primal.
good job of dealing with that. They get off the point, and finally, Legacy have some success in the series, capping out Rialto.
Legacy
They will
Esports.
lose the series still 3-1. So Sydney drop bears, they get away with the win, but
They don't
Legacy
get
take
away-
something from it.
They don't get away unscathed though. They drop the escort just like the Warriors did last week, and 5-minute time bank coming into that second point. Legacy made a meal of it, but they ended up getting it done in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know. It's a bit of a... I feel like it's bittersweet for Legacy in a way. That seems like the best way to sum it up. You know, they get a map off of Sydney Drop Bears. They get a map off of Warriors, which is good, great, you know. But it's still 2 losses in a row to start the season off. So I don't know how to feel about that. Again, it's the kind of thing where you have to see Legacy against more of a same tier opposition. So when they go up against the likes of Ground Zero or Melbourne Mavericks or whatever, you know, that's where I think we're going to see the push come to shove.
Yeah, definitely. It's good signs that they can play and bring out this Doomfist Sombra comp though. That's very, very positive because they're the only team really that's brought it out so far in the Australian Contenders. So we're seeing something new every day here. We're seeing some bunker composition from Athletico, some Doom Sombra from Legacy. Some good signs actually, bit of variety.
It's been pretty interesting actually across the board, especially like even the results as well. Obviously, has made things. You know, like who knows what's going to happen next week, right?
Yeah, even tomorrow. There's some big games tomorrow that could go either way. That Mind Freak Warriors game is the one for me, I think.
Pretty happy to be seeing good performance from Legacy as well, on like an alternative kind of a team comp. If we get to see more of Rani onto Doomfist, I'm pretty happy with that. Icon, the Sombra didn't seem like it was anything sort of super special or anything like that. It was just kind of standard stuff. But you know, if that's going to be how Legacy is going to be able to get a map off of Sydney Drop Bears, you know, imagine what they're going to be able to do against weaker teams.
Yeah, of course. I think that's a team composition that can really punish weaker teams too. Because if their supports aren't as turned on as or switched on as Winter and Kraken were with those sleep darts and shield bashes, that composition can tear through you pretty quickly.
All right, well, let's talk about one more thing, though. Smash, it's time for the Macca's play of the game. And this Macca's play of the game is going to be Shoyo on D.Va, though you could probably give this one to really everyone on Sydney Drop Bears, I feel like.
Yeah, it was a very clean wipe, very good team kill, actually. They get the Suck, the Dragon, the D.Va Bomb. It all comes together, really. Winter getting some headshots after. You'd love to see that.
Yeah, pretty nice stuff indeed from Sydney Drop Bears. I felt like Sydney Drop Bears were a bit more switched on today as well compared to last week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the addition of Nayang really looked good, actually. He built that ridiculously fast Graviton Surge on Shrine, and he didn't seem to waste his ultimate, so that's good.
Want to see more of that, but obviously we'll have to wait until next week. Let's go back into the past, though, and recap